Hey there, it's Seb Frey here with another really exciting episode of Seb Frey TV. So, I'm listening to Think and Grow Rich, that seminal work by Napoleon Hill. Have you heard of that book? Yeah, I read the actual book many years ago. I think I've read it like 1.5 times, and I've listened to the audiobook a couple of times before, and now I'm listening to the audiobook again. And you know what? I've decided that I'm going to think and grow rich. I'm going to do what they suggest in the book, which is, to come up with a fixed amount of money that I want to have by a certain time frame. And by thinking about it, by having a definite purpose, I am going to make that happen. So now, here on Seb Fry TV, I'm going to tell you guys that I am going to have, are you ready for this? $100 million by April 16th, 2022, right? And how am I going to do that? I've chosen to do that by increasing the value that I'm able to deliver to consumers vis-a-vis a real estate transaction. So I'm going to increase the speed, ease, convenience, and certainty while reducing the risk of selling a house. That's what I'm going to do. Now, what specifically does that look like? I do have some ideas around that, but when I think about it, that's what I've been doing on a small scale for, pretty much my whole career, but I'm going to look to kick that up, 1,000-fold or so in order to get that $100 million within 3 years. So you are on notice, you and the universe and everybody else, in 3 years, by April 16th, 2022, I'm going to have in my bank account $100 million. That's what's going on, and I'm going to make that happen. And you might say, well, that's a load of malarkey, Hey, well, that's your reality. My reality is I'm going to have $100 million in 3 years. The Buddhists, they have this thing about manifestation, right? Like you can manifest certain things, right? Like Baba Nagita or whatever. I mean, like he can manifest an apple or like a gold coin or whatever, right? People can make things appear out of nothing. And I've already seen manifestation happen in my own life. Like the house that I live in right now, which I bought about 8 years ago or so. It is the exact house that I envisioned buying, and it's pretty amazing. It took about 3 years. Like, I'm a realtor, right? So I buy and sell houses. I help people buy and sell houses for a living. But it still took me 3 years to get that house. And part of the reason why I think it took so long is because I never really thought that I could get that house. And my house isn't that incredible. It's okay. Around here in Santa Cruz County, of course, housing is in a crisis. And we're truly blessed to have any kind of a halfway decent house. And I think my house is, halfway decent. But I remember when I got married, in 2006. And I told my wife, I was like, man, we'd be lucky to ever even be able to buy like a condo, right? Like a small condo. Like that would be pretty amazing if we were even able to buy a small condo in this town, because just like saving up for the down payment and making the payments and all that stuff, right? Like it seemed like insurmountable at the time. And, that was, 13 years ago. But nevertheless, like from the time that we started thinking about buying a house to the time we actually got our house, right? It was about 3 years, and it's eerie how like the house that we ended up getting, which I'm sitting on the property right now as we speak, is pretty much exactly what we had envisioned for ourselves, right? So we sort of manifested it coming from our own motivation, belief, and desire for that to happen. So same thing's gonna happen with that $100 million. April 16th, 2022, I'm letting everybody know, $100 million, that's going to happen for me. What's going to happen for you? I'm wondering if you have ever thought about, thinking and growing rich, or what your thoughts on Napoleon Hill and that whole idea of manifesting your own reality. What you think about that? I'd love to know. So, go ahead, share this with everybody, ridicule me, whatever you want to do. I'd be thrilled to see some comments on Facebook or on YouTube, on Twitter, or wherever it is that you are on social media. And please, of course, do share this with all your friends, families, and coworkers, because it'll be very interesting to see my own path along this journey that I'm going to take to that $100 million sweet spot in 3 years. All right, that is it for this crazy episode of Seb Fry TV. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll have another episode up for you before too long.